Good afternoon. It is a great pleasure and a greater honor to be here with all of you, paving the path to the future of computing. My name is Fadi Chehimi. I'm a digital innovations consultant in IBM iX in the UK. As Patrice said, I will walk you through a journey that I've been exploring for a while, and that is moving from hyper to actual experiences in XR. Like all of you, I am so passionate about augmented reality and virtual reality. On one hand, I wanted to become part of the digital tools that I use and innovate with my clients. On the other hand, I want to continue on a decade-long journey that I started when I was researching mobile mixed reality during my PhD in Lancaster University in the UK back in 2004. During the time, researchers and developers had one of two options: either to develop their own SDK toolkits to create AR applications, and that was a very painful task, to say the least, or to use the few available SDKs that allowed them to do so, although they were clunky and difficult to set up at some points. One very famous example at that time was AR Toolkit, which was developed by HitLab in New Zealand back in 2001, and later acquired by Dacry in 2015. This was followed by the rise of several other options: Metaio, which is now part of Apple, Kudan, Layar, Vuforia, which we've heard a lot about it today, Urasma, and Blipar. Now, the software solution for AR experiences has continuously been thriving since then. But at the same time, this was causing the industry to be more fragmented, which was causing early adopters confusion about the technology's potentials, about the technology's return on investment, feasibility, applicability in real life. Fast forward to today, the picture seems to be a little bit more promising, given that Apple and Google are already in the game. Oops. Yeah, sorry, I thought there was something wrong in there. Today we have AR Core and AR Kit as basically prominent players in this market, in the software side. Now, this evolution in software has extended its reach to pull hardware with it. And now, all of a sudden, we're having an ecosystem where everyone is moving in one direction in order to make XR a mature consumer technology. Now, although this is the case, Gartner had AR on its most recent technology hype cycle on the trough of disillusionment phase, which means that the technology has failed, according to them, because interest in it is wearing, as early applications and demonstrations have failed to deliver properly. But investment would continue only if surviving players manage to improve their products to the satisfaction of early adopters. Now, to the satisfaction of early adopters. This is a very key statement and a turning point one. As was highlighted several times in the morning sessions, most of the evolution that we see today in AR is technology-centric. As an industry, we are trying to push the boundaries of what we can do with the technology without actually paying a lot of attention on its current limitations and what impact that has on the final user experience we're building. In my opinion, maybe many would disagree with me, there aren't many AR applications that really deliver sustainable and persistent value for users and businesses. And this is why many clients are still hesitant of entering the space. This would change only if we focus on these limitations and try to consider them properly. I will go through some of those limitations in the next couple of slides, but I just want to highlight that the core of my talk is about augmented reality, but the same argument applies as well to virtual reality. So the first sort of limitations that we can think about is basically the prohibitive form factor of head-mounted displays. Now, I believe maybe all of us agree that the current technology, the current form factor is prohibitive from an operational perspective or from adoption perspective. So from one perspective, it can be difficult to use in an operational processes. For example, it might be as heavy as 10 kilograms, putting it on your head and doing your work, which is not very ergonomic. On the other hand, it might be difficult to put it on whilst you are wearing some safety equipment, right? Or in other more hazardous environment, it could cause ignition to flammable vapor in the air, which is not welcomed in such hazardous environments. We have to be very careful about these things when we are basically thinking about applications and services for AR. Now, on another hand, there is another prohibitive factor of the devices, and that is self-actualization. Anything we put on our faces is basically a statement of our brand and our taste, right? I'm not sure how many of you would want to walk down the road wearing such a helmet. It's quite questionable. There is a social tax to be paid in there, and we need to be very conscious and mindful about these things when we are exploring how these things could be used on a daily basis, or how we are selling them to customers and clients as well. So we need to be very mindful about these things. The other thing is hands not free. So the most common flavor of AR now is mobile AR. And that's likely to continue for the next couple of years. But when we are implementing AR on a mobile device so that service engineers in the field can use it to basically increase their productivity, we are actually interrupting the flow of their task. We are asking them to engage their hands and hold a device rather than doing the task itself. So these things are very crucial, and we need to consider them whenever we are basically planning or having any mobile AR applications in the field. We need to understand the workflow that we are trying to enhance and design for, right? And that's the only way we can find those moments in the flow where augmented reality could chip in valuably without interrupting the experience and without causing any delays to the flow. Another thing is haptic feedback. So haptic response is the physical response that you feel when you actuate any object. Pressing a physical button is one simple example. We don't have anything like that currently in the AR space in a commercial perspective, and I believe we're not going to see this in the next couple of years. But one thing that we need to note here is that when touch displays were popularized in 2007 by Apple to replace the traditional keypad-based mobile phones at that time, it was a steep learning curve for many people who used to basically type text messages blindly, holding their phones behind their back, simply by using the guidance of the ridges and edges of the mobile device. We will eventually get used to having no interfaces and no screens whatsoever to touch and feel in XR. But this will take some time, and we need to learn new skills, right? And for us to learn those skills, it will take years and years until they become ubiquitous. And when we are designing interfaces and interactions for those kind of experiences, we really need to be mindful about this learning curve. Last but not least, enterprise security. many developers and designers may not be very open to this discussion or this topic at the moment. But any AR or VR headset that we use is going to be vetted and regulated into a security network and security protocols in any company, just like any other device. So if we take into consideration, let's say, this scenario of us coming to some client with some very sensitive work environment and just ask them that, yeah, we've got this fantastic idea for an application which is using this sort of headset that has a built-in camera and always connected to the internet, and we want you to use it in your secretive infrastructure. Suddenly people get like, oh, okay, no, we need to think about it again. The technology might be very cool and very innovative and revolutionary, but the hosting environment might be really unwelcoming and not ready for it. So we need to be careful about these things whenever we are as well proposing any solutions or any ideas using this technology to the clients, and have a clear understanding of their existing requirements. Now, although these limitations exist, and some others also manifest themselves in the XR space, there have been some very exciting and very novel applications of the technology that really deliver that user value in a very creative way. We'll have a look at a couple of these examples. So, we've all seen examples of ARKit being used to place virtual objects in the physical space around us. And we have seen as well other examples that have used it in order to create the tape measure feature. But this AR twist in the most recent mobile application from KLM puts these two features into one very novel use case, or shall I say suitcase. Let's have a look. Is not playing, I think. Oh, it is. This is cool. It's very simple, yet effective, and it's delivering that small value to the user using this kind of technology. Now, the next one is this novel, yet working concept of an AR glass to be used inside a Mini Cooper as a wearable personal assistant. In my opinion, this sort of devices could be really the future inside inside the automotive space. So let the car do basically the complicated computation, and let the headset handle the immersive visualizations. Let's have a look. Audio, please.
Yes, that's right. Glasses that could see through the solid interior of a car. Revealed at the Auto Shanghai 2015 show, Mini Cooper's augmented vision glasses work in sync with the Mini Cooper's dashboard app system to beam a heads-up display into your field of vision using wearable technology.
Right. And this very clever and novel application by Shopify, which combines virtual reality and augmented reality into one application, which could be the future of digital shopping assistance. Let's have a look.
If you're at home using an AR app to decorate your space, but you need a little bit of help, wouldn't it be great if you could call in a merchant or an interior designer to actually help you out? So in this scenario, you were playing the role of a consumer at home looking for that perfect vase for your coffee table, and the merchant was using a virtual reality headset, and they could be anywhere in the world, and they could magically teleport into your space, actually see the room that you're in, make suggestions on what products are best for you, talk to you about products, answer any questions that you might have, and help you make that perfect buying decision. One great thing is...
Right. Now, finally, to my all-time favorite application of AR in a public space. This is a very creative piece of work by Pepsi Max, which combined the physical and the imaginary worlds on a London bus shelter, making people do double takes, or in an XR terms, get them really immersed.
Let me flip this script. I feel privileged for all who can witness this. I am close to divine. Know the moment is mine, the moment of sign. To all the squares that ask around, we getting it. My skills pay me. I'm trying to get a million, baby, with an adopted flow that God gave me. Me now. Tell whoever runners that they spot is temporary till I
think I got that one.
tell miss some of my wealth tip. So when we cash out soon, I'm just investing.
I'm telling you, this is how it works, man. There's a little camera right here.
Unbelievable, yeah? I was lucky enough to work with one of the digital masterminds who was behind this campaign, but in a different life. Now, if we are to travel into the future, right, where such restrictions that I've just discussed exist no more, how would our experiences with augmented reality and virtual reality turn? One existing example is this hyper-reality concept by Keiichi Matsuda, who is now the VP of Design in Leap Motion. This depicts a vision of the future which combines and have the virtual reality and augmented reality. This presents a future where the physical and the virtual worlds collide. It presents a city experience which is saturated with media and contextual information alongside call to action triggers everywhere. Let's just have a look at the snippet of the video.
Estoy presente ahora. Me amo. Estoy libre de mi ira. Estoy libre de mi tristeza. El amor es mi entrega.
Habla español. Adiós. Olá, yo soy María.
We'll stop here. The video lasts for like 6 minutes, and it has lots of different applications of such nature in different parts of our daily life. Now, a quick survey. How many of you would really want to live such an experience on a daily basis? Wow, no one? Oh, no, there's one person there. I was expecting that. Now, whether this type of experience becomes the reality or not, I don't know. But I believe this is not the intention of immersion in XR. Yeah, so this is not the intention of immersion in XR. This one is, I would say, visually noisy, and if all of you agree, a little bit concerning. Although it is augmenting the reality with assumingly useful information and cues, it is in fact disconnecting us and distracting us from experiencing the reality. And this is what I call the anti-pattern of immersion in XR. And this forms the first type of extreme experiences which we should avoid to build and deliver to our users, even if technology allows it. Now, from hyper-reality, we come to actual reality. In order for us to create true immersion, we need to provide simultaneous stimuli of all human senses. We need to trick the perception of the user to make them question their senses on whether they are experiencing a reality or a simulation of it, just like this one.
This is the Jaguar F-Type simulator. It's just sitting on a 6-axis hydraulic platform here. Roll you around, lift up, down.
How rough are we getting back?
Once you're wearing this helmet, that's really going to simulate exactly what it's going to be like on the track.
Very cool.
Make sure you brace yourself. Good luck.
Okay, Glenn, I'm about to start the ride.
Welcome to Jaguar Virtual Simulator. A full sensory experience combined with Don't keep hold of the grab handles. Are you ready to experience the power of Jaguar F-Type?
Surprised by how real it felt, actually.
I'm a technician, I listen to the car, and if I didn't know better, I would think that I was in a real car.
Acceleration off the mark's just insane.
I used to race cars. I kind of have a feeling of how going at speed feels. Oh, that's so wicked. It doesn't feel like a simulation.
You don't get that acceleration, you don't get that pitch and turn from a normal VR experience.
How'd you find that experience? Amazing. It was unbelievably cool.
No, shut up.
Don't lie.
You are s***ing me.
Did you actually drive me around?
Did it really go out? No, it didn't, did it?
Right.
It pushed me out on the track.
Yeah, well, that actually explains quite a lot.
It was good.
What an amazing car.
Can I do it again?
Do I want one? Yes.
Yeah, I would love one myself too. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is fake VR. This is not true simulation, etc. But this is the dream of all of us, creating that level of realism in any application is just the pinnacle of all what we are aiming to do. Unfortunately, we are not there yet due to the limited capabilities of the technologies that we have at our disposal. But we are getting there. Hopefully, we will get to that point. Now, using those two concepts, the hyper experiences and actual experiences, I have created a method which developers and designers could use in order to assess and evaluate the scope of emotional, physical, and cognitive arousals that they feel when they engage with AR and VR applications. This is called the hyper-actual immersiveness scale, and it uses design thinking practices in order to achieve that. I am in the process of publishing this in an academic conference, so I'm hoping to have the chance of talking about this in another opportunity. But what I want to leave you with is this thought. Let's embrace the limitations of existing XR systems and try to think on how we can use them to deliver actual experiences. It has been done successfully, and so we can do now. We only need to observe, learn, and iterate, right? Finally, and most importantly, whatever we do, let's just not forget what Halliday from Ready Player One once said. Reality is the only thing that is real. Thank you very much.